and all. Today's my topic of presentation is tear film structure and methods to evaluate tear film disorders. Wolf first described the structure of tear film. He coined the term precorneal tear film. He told that there are three layers, that is outermost lipid layer, intermediate aqueous layer, and the inner mucoid layer. But today, a new model showed that today more recent studies consider the tear film as a bilayered structures consisting of mucoaqueous gel and the lipid layer. Coming to the tear film test, there are various tests. Coming first to the Schirmers test, it is used to evaluate the aqueous tear production. We use Whatman filter paper number 41. There are three types of tests in it, the type 1, 2, and 3. In first test, what we do is it is done without anesthesia, and we check both basal and reflex tear secretion, whereas after putting the anesthesia, we check the basal tear secretion. And in Schirmers test 2, it is used to know the reflex tear secretion by stimulating the nasal mucosa. In Schirmers 3, to know the reflex secretion, here the patient is asked to look into the sun directly. And phenol red test, it is an alternative to Schirmers test. Instead of a Whatman filter paper number 41, we put a phenol red thread and then we assess it. Coming to fluorescence clearance test, it is delayed clearance of dye seen in case of unhealthy ocular surface and unstable tear. Coming to the next test, that is tear film breakup time. Here, the fluorescence strip is wetted with non-preserved saline, and the fluorescence is then placed in the lower conjunctival sac, and the interval between the complete blink and the first randomly appeared dry spot is recorded. This is a small video which I have recorded in the slit lamp recorder, where I have stained the cornea, and in the cobalt blue filter, here we can see a dry spot appearing. And ocular protection index, it is a ratio between tear breakup time and the interblink interval. Less than 1 indicates that there is more chance of dry eye. Next is blinking tolerance time. It is a newer test. It is a simple and a non-invasive test. Here we ask the patient to look at a distance of 3 meters, and the time is recorded from the first and the last blink. And there is a quite a bit correlation between the tear breakup time and the blinking tolerance time. Okay, next non-invasive test is the keratograph 5M, and various models of keratographs exist, allowing analysis of tear film stability with good reproducibility. And with the keratograph 5M, we can examine the breakup time with the help of the infrared illumination. We can even measure the lipid layer thickness, tear meniscus height by using keratograph, and redness scan by the blood vessels of the nasal and the bulbar conjunctiva, and tear film dynamics with the help of the particle flow by keratograph. By keratograph, we can even measure the Meibomian gland, Meibomian glands, whether there is presence of any dropouts at all. We can measure with it. Next is a tearoscope. In tearoscope, this is a handheld instrument which also measures the non-invasive tear breakup time, and also the lipid layer thickness can also be measured with the help of tearoscope. And I tried to measure an anterior segment tear meniscus height with the help of an anterior segment OCT. Here, I took a patient and I tried to measure a meniscus height in this patient, which is approximately about 0.3 mm. It is a non-invasive and more reliable test when compared to the slit lamp examination. Thermography, here in normal patient, there is no much variation in the temperature, whereas in case of dry eye patients, there is much temperature variation seen. Tear evaporometer, normal tear evaporation rate is about 0.12 microliter per minute, but whereas in case of dry eyes, the evaporation rate is much higher, which can be measured by this instrument. There are various dyes like fluorescent stain, rose bengal, and lissamine stain. Fluorescent stain will stain if there is any break in the epithelium, whereas rose bengal and lissamine stains will stain the cells devoid of mucus, debris, and devitalized cells. The lissamine is also similar to rose bengal, but it is less irritant. And there are various grading systems like Wall scoring system and National Institute scoring system based on that. Conjunctival impression cytology, I have a small video on that, where in which we put topical anesthesia, and then with the help of blotting plunger, we measure the we take the impression of the conjunctiva, and then we take out, and then we measure it. And we get after staining, we get a picture like this showing epithelial cells and the goblet cells. And there is a scoring system of national scoring system by Nelson and White. And next, lipid view, it is a non-invasive test based on white light interferometry. I tried to do a lipid view for a patient. In case of measuring the lipid layer thickness, we put the chin rest nearer to the machine, and for meibomography away from the machine. And each eye we test for 20 seconds. And the final result after interpretation will get them input like this. And this is a This is a lipid view of a normal patient showing 100 and 99. This is the lipid layer thickness value, and partial, and it also gives the partial and complete blink rate, and with a C factor of 0.9, which is reliable. And this is a lipid view of a dry eye patient showing the value of 57 in right eye and 40 in left eye, which is less than the normal, along with, and the same meibomography of the same patient showing some gland dropouts. And tear film hyperosmolarity test, where according to National Eye Institute, it is considered abnormal if it is more than 316. According to FDA, if it is more than 308, it is considered abnormal. And a difference of 8 mm is also considered. Other tests like lysozyme microassay, lactoferrin microassay, matrix metalloproteinase 9 microassay can also be done. Thank you.
Dr. Sharon?
Okay.
Dr. Sharon, you can ask.
Yeah. So one thing, since this is a forum about you all being the teachers of tomorrow, one of the very important things you must keep in mind to be a good orator or be a good teacher is that if you are very fast, it is difficult for the person listening to catch up. You know everything, but as a teacher, we have to try and get that across. So that's one thing that you must remember. I know there's so much in each topic. So that is the part of the challenge, that in 4 minutes, how can you put the most crisp, or, whatever is you think is the most important information to be delivered. Okay, but great presentation. These are all big topics. So it's always a challenge. Okay, I'll ask some basic things about tear film or dry eye evaluation. When you are doing the Schirmer's test with anesthesia, what is the point you want to keep in mind to make sure your test is as accurate as possible? It's a very logical question. So just think about it, and I'm sure you'll be able to answer. So you did the Schirmer's one. You just put the Schirmer's strip, and then you want to go ahead and do the Schirmer's with anesthesia. How would you do that?
We ask the patient, we have to see whether there is no room air, like fan and all should be off.
Yeah, that is, you've seen that with the Schirmers, first Schirmers already.
Fastly.
Sorry?
Normal blink, we should ask not to blink fastly to the patient.
As accurate. What can happen which can give you a wrong result? Am I audible? It says my internet is unstable.
Yeah, now it is audible.
Okay.
After putting the anesthesia, the excess tear should be wiped out, and then...
Exactly. Okay, so that is a very, very important thing, because otherwise what you measure will be just the drop which you yourself have instilled into the eye. So you must dab off the excess drop and then go ahead. When you're doing the tear breakup time, would you like to take one reading, or would you like to take a few readings, repeated readings?
Usually I take 3 readings, ma'am. Actually, it is my thesis topic also. For all the patients which I have checked, I took 3 readings, and the average of...
Correct. Okay. So you'll take the average of 3 readings. Other than the timing of the break, is there anything else you look at?
Yes, ma'am. The area of break that, like...
Why is that?
Whether it is streak break or dimple break, or it is in which quadrant also is important.
Why do you want to see that?
Based on the severity, it also tells us the severity of the disease, how severe the dry eye is.
And if you're getting the break in the same location repeatedly, what would that tell you?
Spot.
Yeah, it's just logic. Tell me your thesis. You know it, I'm sure. Tell me.
Some localized defect.
Exactly. Not defect necessarily, but some irregularity of the ocular surface in that area. So it tells you to go back and look. And one question about the meibography. Okay, it's an excellent tool, very, very useful. Sometimes we may not have access to that particular instrument.
Yes,
how is there any way to do it?
Yes,
even otherwise?
By autorefractometer also we can see the Meibomian.
How? Why is that? You're right. Why is that?
Why I have no
Of course, you know. What is the light you're using?
infrared.
Infrared. So any infrared based technology will give you the same image. Okay. Only thing is you cannot capture that image unless you go get someone to capture it off the screen.
Yes.
Okay. So all these technologies are very, very useful. You need to know exactly when to use and what extra information each of them would be giving to you.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harika.
Thank you, Dr. Shan. If I may just add one comment, if it's possible.
Sir, go ahead, sir, please.
Just one thing, Dr. Harika, is that your Schirmers, which you presented in the slide, was little. My understanding of Schirmers is Schirmers 1 is done without anesthesia, and Schirmers 2 is Schirmers 2 is with anesthesia, and Schirmers 3 is with the stimulation. And it's not like looking at the sun or going out in sunlight, because that will give you a wrong Schirmers 3.
Yes.
It is with a nasal stimulation.
Sir, sir, I have referred I don't know whether I am correct or not, sir. I have referred some things, sir, where it is given that Schirmers 3 is obsolete because that test is giving the wrong results, and in Schirmers 1 only they have divided it into without anesthesia and with anesthesia. Schirmers 2 with nasal, sir. I don't know whether it is correct or not, sir. I'm sorry if I am wrong, but.
I'm not maybe Sharon will be the right person, because that's what we read when we were studying. So that's
Yes,
what
sir.
we
So there's been a slight change in nomenclature, which is why what she is saying about the staring at the sun is a little not so clear, but definitely Schirmers 2 is now the Schirmers with nasal stimulation. They have just written the Schirmers with anesthesia as part of the. They don't call it Schirmers 1. They just say Schirmers 1 is without anesthesia and Schirmers with anesthesia. So it doesn't come under one either. It is just in
Fine.
addition.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.